Yo, welcome to the NS9 Postgame show powered by Primanti Brothers. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we got Cody Licious Coleman. What's up, my guy?
Hi. That was a strange way to introduce me, but I'll take it.
Hi. I mean, that's what I have you on my phone as. Oh, no, I don't. Never mind. It's Cody the Creator.
Cody the Creator. I don't know what all I create, but good vibes, I guess. Let's bring the good vibes. I can't let the Pirates get me down anymore, you know? I just can't let it happen. Good vibes.
Good vibes only. That's why we're Pirate fans. But yeah, Pirates, hey, you know what? They won the Mariners series. I guess that's all you could ask for the rest of the year.
I guess. I don't know.
No, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Like you said, good vibes only. They do lose today. But, I mean, they were in it. They lost 4-3 to the Texas Rangers. Dane Dunning started. Luis Ortiz started. Mixed bag for both pitchers. But, yeah, all in all, the Pirates couldn't do enough to win the game.
Yeah, it was another one of those games where they get all their runs in one inning, and that's it. You know, you don't see much more. Like Jim likes to say, if you're going to lose, make it entertaining.
Well, right. I think that's where we're kind of praying for the rest of the season, because they're clearly not going into the playoffs. So there's really not much to truly fight for and win. So, you know, results as far as wins and losses for the consumer don't really mean too much, again, because they're not really playing for a whole lot. So it's like, at least make it entertaining. Yeah. I don't know. I felt like this game, I mean, it wasn't real entertaining. Like, Sunday was just a completely meh. Like, that's as bland as a game you can get. I feel like today was a little bit better than Sunday's game, at least. But yeah, like, it wasn't too entertaining in that sense. But I don't know. I'll tell you what, though, before we go any further, let me tell you all about BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. From the preseason NFL to college kicking off, BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. Think you know your stuff? I do, by the way. Get it on your winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor pool for the upcoming season. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today and use promo code BELIEVE. That is BLEAV, and get in on the action. BetOnline. The game starts here. By the way, I got the number one overall pick in our fantasy league. Just put it out there.
In your fantasy league?
Yeah. I can't wait to blow that one.
Just take CMC. You'll be fine.
Yeah. We'll see.
That's what I'm doing.
But anyways, let's start off and talk about Luis Ortiz. He starts off the game. Wasn't the way you wanted to start off the game, right?
No.
The second batter, Corey Seager, takes one deep. Very deep. 1-0 ball game.
Yeah.
That kind of set the tone.
It did. But it's Corey Seager. You know, like, what are you gonna do? Dude's a World Series MVP. He's a really good baseball player. I know as Pittsburgh fans, we don't see that often, but he's a really good baseball player. So what are you gonna do? I saw it coming, honestly. And I think they said something on the broadcast. I think Greg Brown kind of alluded to how good he was, and then boom, he hit a home run.
Well, yeah. There's sometimes you say, you know what? Congratulations. You are Corey Seager. You do have an 882 OPS. You're a very well compensated player because of how good you are in Texas. Yes, he's going to do this. I mean, he does have now on the year 28 home runs. It happens. It happens. Unfortunately, it happened twice. That's the downfall. And
Right.
and one of the things is, you can have players beat you, and it happens, as we're talking about. But Luis Ortiz is having this string of starts where I feel mixed in every one of them. He gives up a lot of home runs, but he battles through. And like at the end of the day, the stat line for the most part, take out that Arizona start, like it doesn't seem egregiously horrible, right? Like you leave it and you say, well, he wasn't locating well. Left a bunch of pitches in the middle of the plate. They connected, gave up some runs, gave up some hits. Like on the other end, too, some solid swing and misses. And again, like he goes, his final stat line, he goes 6 innings, only those, 5 hits, the 4 runs, but 7 strikeouts, just 1 walk. Like there's still some things that are encouraging.
Yeah.
So, I'm not ready to write Luis Ortiz off and say, yeah, maybe, he's just a reliever or such, which I'll talk more about there as well. But again, at the end of it, I'm like, you know what? There's some stuff that makes you feel encouraging. But again, like he gives up runs.
Right. But I think on the other hand, and like you were saying, like sometimes a player will beat you. He only really got beat by one player. He looks sharp to every other batter. There's not much I could say that he did poorly. I know you broke it down a little better than I can, but he looked solid. And it's unfortunate, everybody, it seems like everybody on the staff gives up a home run to somebody a game. Like it's a home run a game almost. Even Skeens does it. And like you said, he battles back. He's good at that. But
I might just keep this coming out in the entire show.
I think that, yeah. But yeah, Ortiz, you can't ask for much more out of him. I think this is a solid start, and it just comes down to, can the offense back him up? And we didn't particularly see that tonight.
Right. Basically, and oddly enough, it was Triolo who hit the 3-run bomb, which,
yeah,
hey,
out of nowhere.
You know what? I mean, let's talk a little bit. There's not too long about this, but like Billy McKinney got on base. He was 2 for 2 to start off the game, right? He gets on base. Joey Bart got on base. Then Triolo hit the home run, made it a 4-3 ball game. And right then and there, like, yeah, this team's back in the game. They're in business right now. 4-3. There's still enough game left. If the pitching can hold through, which it did, they can find and muster up some offense. They can come through here, but they didn't. But you're right. Like with Luis Ortiz, like he did. I mean, essentially for everyone else, again, 6 innings. He only gave up 5 hits, 1 walk. Like he allowed 6 base runners. It's just unfortunate that 2 of those 5 hits were home runs to the same person. And because, they had a strand of hits there as well, and I'm not going to totally blame Bryan Reynolds. Like he has shown he's not the greatest defender. That one was tricky, even though it had, I think, a catch probability of like 75%. It was one of those as well. That was tricky. I mean, that was right at the wall. How do you play it? It also bounced off his face, I think.
He kept it in front of him. He saved the base,
Yeah, well, he literally kept it in front of him.
Right. That's what I mean.
Dome. Right. So, I don't want to hammer him too much because, that doesn't feel too good, I'm sure. But, again, also a tricky play. I don't know if you can really expect him to make that catch. But, yeah, it was hits like that. And then, again, Corey Seager, middle, takes it deep. It's a different ball game, instead of 1-0, now it's 4-0. So, again, it's a strand of starts by Luis Ortiz that each one you just feel mixed. It's like you've gotten the entire Luis Ortiz experience in every single start that still leaves you kind of wondering. Again, I'm encouraged.
Yeah.
I'm not discouraged. I'm just kind of like, I don't know what's happening yet. I'm not sure what he is. I want to see him finish this year strong to feel good about next year. Because I think there's a lot of stuff that makes you feel encouraged that he could be a starter next year. But yeah, like the thing that's also kind of weird is you can look at this and say, like, hey, you see this stuff, but he gives up runs and such. Maybe he is just a reliever. But oddly enough, it also seems as if most of his damage is done early in the ball game. So like being a reliever wouldn't solve that. Like that's why I'm kind of perplexed here. Maybe he just simply needs an opener, but again, like it's not also true. Like I don't think that's going to solve what he's doing here, like what the actual problem is.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just kind of in the middle of Luis Ortiz, still trying to identify who this character is.
Yeah. So I was going to say this, but Sean beat me to it in the comments. Ortiz is a 4-5 guy, and that's what he's been all season, ever since he got into this new starter role for him this year. I can't be upset with what he brings to the table either. He's a young guy, like you're saying. Like you still want to see more from him, but he's young. He has time. I mean, I feel like we've put him in this category of kind of like a Mitch Keller situation, where it's going to take him a little time to develop, but when he does, you can see that it's there, that he will be solid. He'll be a solid starter, and I think once he gets to that point where he's figured it all out, he's a solid like 3 starter for this team, and that's all you can ask for from the guy. You can't ask him to be Paul Skeens. You can't ask him to be Jared Jones. This is who he is, and it's great, and it would be paired very well with a good offense.
Yeah, well, with that said. But no, but here's the thing about it, and again, this is going way, way too far at this point in time. But this is why you want to see the results, want to see how he finishes out, because next year is, if it's as hyped as it can be, it's going to be very competitive of who's going to win that rotation. You talk about Paul Skeens. There is Jared Jones. There is Mitch Keller. If Bubba Chandler is everything is advertised, that 1 through 4 is locked, and it is potentially very good, which means there's only one more spot for that 5th guy. Is it a Luis Ortiz? And also, again, we're talking about if Luis Ortiz is your number 5 behind those 4, like I'm fine with it the way it is. But again, there's a Bailey Falter, Luis Ortiz, there's Ashcraft, there's a lot of options. Oviedo's going to be coming back. Is there potentially a free agent? So there's going to be a lot of battle. So that's why, to me, this is kind of important for Luis Ortiz. Is he going to have the upper hand in that battle going into next year? Or is it just going to be like it's completely, hey, it's open. Spring's going to mean, much more.
Yeah. Like I'm not a pitching guy. I don't drool over it. I don't look at the stuff. I don't look at Stuff Plus. I don't look at any of that stuff. But with the situation we have brewing for this offseason, I cannot wait for the battle that it's going to be to see who is in this starting 5 for 2025. There's so many arms. Like, I don't think I've ever been a Pirates fan where we had this many arms, like it's
and high upside arms too. Like
exactly. For sure. And it's not even guys that have been around for a while that it's like, oh, we had to sign this guy and hope that he's still the same guy he was. No, these are guys coming from the farm with, you have Bubba Chandler, Ashcraft. I'll throw Thomas Harrington in there. You got all those guys, and then you got the guys that are already kind of here and are here in Ortiz. And then you have Oviedo, who hopefully he can come back from his TJ surgery and be the same dominant pitcher he was towards the end of the stretch last year.
Yep.
I mean, it's a very, I know we still got like a month left of this season, but I'm very excited for spring training and what that's going to look like.
It's such a backhanded compliment,
It is.
Like,
but
this team's like really exciting for 2025.
I know, but it's also a realistic outlook, right?
It is, but that's where we're at. It's like we're already running off the season. We're already looking for 2025. Welcome to being a Pirates fan.
Listen, I'm trying to keep positivity, and the positivity is always next year with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right. So I guess to reel this back to the game, get into today, talked about the present. Luis Ortiz, like we said, mixed bag. Here's the thing. It's 4-3. And obviously the offense needs to still continue to do what they need to do to win. But the issue with this team, I feel like more often than not, is the bullpen. The offense has typically done enough-ish. The starting pitching has been a mixed bag as well, but it seems like the bullpen always takes their opportunity to lose the game or not allow the team to come back and win, right? And that was the complete opposite today. Kudos to Dennis Santana. Kudos to Jalen Beeks. The bullpen came in and they shut this team down. 1.1 for Dennis Santana. No hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Jalen Beeks comes in for 2 outs, 1 strikeout, no hits, no walks. Again, those two came in, completely dominated. I feel like more and more I talk about Dennis Santana. Take away that second outing he had. We had the 6 earned runs. Like since that time, he has really started to click and he's really showing you what he can do. Man, that sweeper looks good. Like, I think it's just another example of why there isn't so much hate for the pitching side of things. And Oscar Marine, you know, they've certainly had their instances where players have gone off and done well, but they also have their success stories. And that's all I ask for. Every organization is going to have guys that go off and perform better. But if you don't have your own success stories, then it's a problem. I feel like the Pirates do, and that's why I've been more okay with that scene. And Dennis Santana is more or less looking like one of those success stories.
Dude, I would say Dennis Santana is the MVP of this game, even though we lost. I mean,
so the middle reliever in a loss was the MVP of the game.
Yes, the efficiency of him in the 7th inning, 10 pitches, 9 strikes.
Almost an immaculate. Yeah.
Right. It was extremely impressive from a guy who we do not look that highly upon. You know, he's a guy who we're like, oh, it's just one of these guys that Cherington brought in here to take up some innings because he can't build a bullpen. And look what he's doing. He's gotten better and better. He's had his moments, obviously. He hasn't had – I'll say what hasn't been as bad as Ben Heller, but he's had his moments. But that's a guy that, like you're saying, hopefully he's a success story. Hopefully he's a guy that can be in this bullpen with guys like Dauri Moreta, Ryan Barucki come next season. And if he keeps performing this way, it's going to be a no-brainer to keep him around. So I was just extremely impressed with the efficiency from him. Great outing from Dennis Santana. And then Jalen Beeks. Jalen Beeks looked like he was throwing the hell out of the ball today. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him throw that intensely. Like, I know he has he cocks back, he hides the ball, but it looked like he was actually throwing missiles today. Like, he was channeling his inner Aroldis Chapman, but it was only hitting 93. But I could see the effort.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say something here. And sorry, I'm just pulling up some numbers here. So Santana has had, oh God, now I got to do it again.
Uh-oh. Filling time.
23 appearances as a Pirate.
Yeah.
And only giving up runs in 5 of them. So, like, that's kind of what I'm alluding to here. You know,
right.
Like, as his tenure with the Pirate, now this doesn't count today's starts, so obviously going to go down. I'm not going to do the numbers right now as far as the ERA. He had a 4.18 as a Pittsburgh Pirate entering today's game. Again, that's obviously lowered. But of those 11 earned runs he's had in his 25 innings pitched, 6 of them came in that one game, his second game with Colorado, right? So he's only had 5 other earned runs. And again, we talk about in the games, like, mostly when Dennis Santana comes in, he's coming out not giving up an earned run. That's where we're at with him right now. You know, and like I can't speak highly enough of him right now, especially what you thought he was going to be when he came, and he kind of proved it. You know, oh, there he is, 6 earned runs. There's Dennis Santana. There's the DFA guy. Good job, Ben. He's kind of shown what he can do. They've identified what they saw in him, and it's working.
Yeah. Yeah, I was hearing it from my my friends that are Yankees fans around here in New Jersey. They're like, "Oh, you guys got Dennis Santana? Good freaking luck." I was like, "Oh, geez, here we go." And then he has that 6-run outing, and then you're like, "Well, looks like he's gonna get DFA'd," but no, he's turning it around, and good for him.
For sure. And like you said, you talked about Beeks a little bit here. So let's get to the offensive side. What offense there was, at least.
Yeah.
Again, I talked about Triolo's home run. I guess it's his second home run in 3 games. That's something of note. I
getting
guess
hot.
his OPS is still 532, and it's pretty bad. And he's probably going to see much more playing time because Brian Hayes hit the IL today because apparently the guy has just a terrible back.
A herniated
as
disc?
It was reported today.
Is that what the report was? Is a herniated disc?
That's what I guess it wasn't like technically spoken as that's what it is, but that's of course what it sounds as it should be. I guess there's still a lot of question marks around like what the actual issue is and if it's legit or not, and what's going on, and are they monitoring it? Are they not? Do they care about it? Do that? I don't know, but clearly he's on the IL now. There's some probably truth to that. We know he's had a bad back for some time, but like what it sounds like, how he's been playing with it and potentially playing with a herniated disc for how long. And I don't know. I've had one. I had to go to physical therapy because of it. I didn't know what it was at first, and it took me time and time again to find out what it was. By the way, don't go to a chiropractor first. Always go to a doctor when you have back issues, because that is a waste of money. But yeah, I can't imagine doing this with a herniated disc. And it's like, if that is the case, I get why he sucks, and he sucks.
But if I get it. If that was the case, why was he still here? Like, it's not like,
seems like, go ahead.
It's not like Brian Hayes' presence makes a difference. You know, like, sure, he has a good defense, but guess what? Triolo has good defense. You have other people that can play third base. Like, keeping Brian Hayes around while he's injured and has an injury that makes it even just hard to move. Like, what's the point? Why are we trying to kill this guy? I get we got him under contract. Do what you can with him. But, like, that's messed up.
Right. So, with that said, we won't be seeing Brian Hayes, at least for the short term of this 2024 season, which, again, means probably a lot more IKF and a lot more Jared Triolo. So, he does go 1 for 3 today with a walk. His OPS now increases to 582. We're getting closer and closer to 600. But at any rate, kudos to Jared Triolo on that. But I do want to talk about, Joey Bart. Joey Bart DH today went 2 for 4. His OPS increases. He's at a 144 weighted runs created plus, 198 plate appearances on the season now. Not all with the Pirates, but 198 in total. And again, that includes the Giants plate appearances where they weren't so good. 144 in total. It's still small sample. Like I'm not changing my stance when I talked about him 2 weeks ago, I think on NS9 Live. Like, I still want to see more of this, but the more and more that you're seeing, the more and more encouraged you are about Joey Bart and his future as the starting catcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And again, today, 2 for 4. We also saw some wheels on him.
Yeah.
This is the catcher. You saw some wheels on him.
I think I was one of the few people that was very excited whenever Joey Bart got traded to the Pirates. I didn't like outwardly express that because like it's Joey Bart, but for some reason I've always seen this potential. And I'm not saying he's going to be the best catcher ever, not by any means, but he has potential to be a mainstay in a lineup, right? And he's proving that. And it's what the Pirates need. And I think you guys talked about it. Maybe it was last night. Maybe it was on Starbucks. I can't remember, honestly. But you talked about how we have an issue now, which is a good issue, of like, what do you do with ND and Henry now? Like, if Bart sticks around, what happens with those guys? And I think it's a great situation to be in. You have options. We don't have options much when we're Pirates fans. But if he could stick around, if Ben, I don't know if does he have control or anything like that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. That was going to be my next point was I know how Ben likes to operate sometimes, and he likes to just move on.
Yeah,
like he did with Carlos Santana.
He's controlled through 2027. So
good.
Definitely some controllable years.
But yeah, so that to have a guy like Joey Bart, I'm sorry for your guy Jason DeLay. I don't think we're going to need him.
But that's a good problem. Just like you're talking about, like,
Exactly.
that's a good problem. The problem isn't will Endy or Henry become an adequate catcher, because if they can, look what this team can do. It's, hey, you know what? Joey Bart is there. We're comfortable. All we need to do is figure out if one of them can be as a good backup. And again, that's what's good, especially Endy, right? He has that versatility to play other positions. So, like, all you needed was Henry Davis to be a major league hitter for the most part, an adequate enough catcher, because that's where Endy, kind of like the IKF part, right? Endy's value is he can be your backup catcher, he can be your first baseman, he can kind of be your DH. Like, he has some versatility to him. I don't know if they'll still play him at second, like maybe, hopefully you don't need it, but because of the versatility, he can play all over while catching. And if it's not going to be Henry Davis, it's going to be Joey Bart, then Endy can still find his way into the lineup as long as he is a productive major league player, and that, you know, is something you want to have. But yeah, like, that's what Joey Bart presents. Like, you now have a solidified MLB catcher for the foreseeable, future that I don't know what they're going to do with them too. None of them have proven themselves though either. So we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. But the thing is, Joey Bart is more or less proving himself that he can be. And that just makes 2025 so much easier to work with, because that's a spot that you have a bunch of question marks for. And luck struck. Joey Bart was DFA'd. He found his niche here in Pittsburgh. He found his swing again, made him a top prospect, and boom. I'm not going to say solved, but you're very encouraged about that spot next year.
Right. It's a situation. It's one less situation to worry about next year, when there's a lot of situations to worry about on the offense and defensively. But I think we've said enough about him. I want to talk about Billy Cook, or not Billy Cook, Billy McKinney.
Before we get to McKinney, one more thing I did want to say about Joey Bart was the two hits they also were off righties. Like, that was some question mark as well. Like, he's mashing lefties. So, like, is this going to sustain? Is he just a lefty masher and not going to? Both hits they off a righty as well. So, like, it's not just lefties, and he's totally inadequate against the righty.
Right.
Showed it today.
So let's talk about Billy McKinney.
Okay.
All this crap you guys are talking about Billy McKinney. He comes in 2 for 4 today. Get off my guy's back.
You're a Billy McKinney guy,
Tyler was salivating over Billy McKinney before the season started. And now you guys are like, oh, bring up Billy Cook. Bring up Nick York. Billy McKinney belongs here.
You know, I think you're right. I think he was salivating about McKinney.
He was.
I kind of forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
But at any rate, it's less about Billy McKinney and more about what's right for the 2025 season. But honestly, like, getting Billy Cook up here and starting his development makes more sense than having Billy McKinney come up here. And even as an average major leaguer, 2024 doesn't really matter anymore. And I don't know if you're really keeping him around next year. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is his time to prove it if he can stick around. I mean, he kind of showed in New York at the end of last year too that, I think Stanton was hurt. He came up and like, he was productive-ish. But what did that land him? A minor league deal with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Because like, the body of work shows that he's really not that good. And I don't know if I really trust him. And I don't want to go into 2025 with, hey, we have Billy McKinney.
Right. Now, realistically, I'm not going to hang my hat on Billy McKinney. I wanted to make a point to say that the guy's a major leaguer. I understand we want to see these new toys, and it's frustrating that they didn't get called up already. But let's not poo-poo on the guy before we see what he's made of in the major leagues. He went 2 for 4 tonight. He played well. I think he deserved to be mentioned here, because not many people on this Pirates team got a hit tonight.
That's fair.
Actually, more people than I thought, but still.
That's fair. I mean, hey, it was obviously going to happen, though. I mean, like you said, we poo-pooed on this since the rumor, not even the actual transaction happening, since the rumor, hey, there's a source that we think Billy McKinney is coming up tomorrow. Get the graphic going. I'm ready to go in, Cody. Let's do this. And he comes up and right away 2 for 2. And it's like, you know what? Don't do this to me again. But again, like it's much less on Billy McKinney, and you can make the argument, and I fully agree with you when you say like he deserved the promotion, he earned it. Yes, he did. Like he was playing his ass off, he was performing in AAA. He's also 29 years old, and in AAA for a reason. You know what I mean? Like that's just where I'm at. So yeah, he snuck one through between first and second today. He get his first hit, and then he got a little blooper for his second hit. Here I am, like I talk about the sideways comment. Here I am to him as well. Yeah, you went 2 for 4, you stupid idiot who just got his blooper. But like, yeah, he did have 2 hits. Congratulations, kudos to Billy McKinney. Hey, but again, he was part of that 3-run homer. He was on base to make it 3 runs.
And I guess I also bring it up because of the fact of like, look at how bad this team has been this year. You know, like how did he not get called up sooner to spark this offense? You know?
Thank you.
Exactly. So that's kind of why I want to bring it up and be like, listen, this is a guy, he's a major league caliber player. He may not be good by any means, but he can play Major League Baseball. We had a lot of guys on this team, some still currently on the team, that we say aren't Major League Baseball players. This is a guy that should have been up sooner than he got called up, and I just needed to bring attention to it.
By the way, Paul, good night. My official
Bye, Paul.
Commenter.
Bye, Paul. Have a good one.
Paul's my favorite, hands down. Sorry, Bucka Mike, you've been dethroned.
He's a handful, that Paul guy.
But yeah, again, that's fair. And not to make this the Billy McKinney show either.
No.
But he came up, he did what he needed to do. Kudos to Billy McKinney. And you know, most importantly, I think also for the first time, and I feel in years, because that's what it feels like, we didn't point at a play in right field and say, what kind of defense was that? So, of course, there wasn't a whole lot of opportunities, but
no.
It seems like every damn game, it's like, what the hell is that? And that didn't happen today.
Right. So, kudos, or whatever you say. Good job, Billy McKinney.
Good job.
You deserve it.
All right. So, outside of that, again, not a whole lot of offense, a lot of called strike threes. Yes, you can debate on the umpiring, but I also go to, you know what? When you have 2 strikes on you, you got to start protecting the plate. And I know he struck out. Ironically, of course he did. But you see that last out, that last at-bat by Connor Falefa? Like, that's what I'm talking about. 2 strikes on you. He had, 4 foul balls?
Yeah.
That's protecting the plate. That's doing your job. Not just watching, the questionable strike 3 go by and get rung up. Again, that's a lot this team did last year. It hasn't been like this major problem. I know I'm bringing it up even more right now, but they did see a lot of called strike 3s today.
Yeah, and I mean, that at bat that at the end of the game for IKF was great. He was even fighting off the pitches that were like 2 feet inside and coming at his abdomen. I was like, oh, let's go. Like, we just got to make contact with something.
You're right.
But yeah, the strike zone was questionable, but it was questionable on both sides. I'm not going to say that, the Pirates got screwed. I think the strike zone was what it was today. Nothing to bring up there. And a lot of these guys, for some reason, under this Andy Haynes tutelage, is that the right word? I'm bringing out a lot of words
That's
tonight
what I was going to
really
suggest to you.
Don't know the meanings of.
But I've heard in that context. So
I've heard it in context. But yeah, under Andy Haynes, a lot of these guys, they just love watching strike 3 go right by them. There's no fight. There's no, I got to foul a ball off to stay alive, to find my pitch. And IKF is showing why you do that. I mean, he didn't get a hit, but he looked good at the plate. He didn't look like he was lost, like a lot of these guys end up looking.
He literally went down swinging.
Oh.
So, at any rate, it's been 34 and a half minutes talking about this mad game. It is what it is. They lost. They'll be back tomorrow. Hey, Mitch Keller's on the mound tomorrow.
Oh, yay.
So getting good Mitch Keller back would be pretty good right now as well.
That'd make me ecstatic.
Any other things you want to bring up real quick?
No, I just want to bring up the fact that we got the two corniest NS9 members doing this post-game show tonight. We got to be like the corniest people.
That's why it was the most viewed NS9 postgame ever on August 19th, 2024.
Make it happen. Share it with your friends.
There you go. Yeah, we're done. Let's get out of here for everyone's sake.
Bye.
Appreciate y'all. As always, go ahead, like, subscribe, follow, comment, do all that good stuff. Tell us how terrible Neil is. We love it. I promise you, every comment I see negative about Neil is shared in the group chat.
It is.
Promise you, it is. So do all that stuff. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.